Welcome traders to our post-week market review. So jumping straight into things here, we're going to do what we normally do and we're going to go from the Monday to the Friday. So from the start to the end of the week, and we're just going to mark in what happened from wick to wick, but not including every single little move because it doesn't mean anything to us. So this was market open. As you saw, we saw a extremely bullish move. This was the candlestick. However, as you can see, we saw a nice little bit of exhaustion with sellers jumping straight back in, closing price within one of our points of interests. We then saw price drop down and we tested a few times on this level of around 3,355 as a support. Price then came up, created a high at the same sort of level as we saw price push up to initially upon market open. We then saw price catapult all the way down, and we've created our first lower low here at 3,340 and our first lower high here. Price then continued, creating a low just above one of our points of interest at around 3,293. Then price sort of consolidated for a little while and then creating a high at this level here, which is previous support. If I go ahead and mark it in for you, you can see, if I go ahead and change the color for you, just so we can see it, you can see that where price tested as a resistance, we can see that price has tested at this level a few times in the past as both support and resistance. So continuing on with our path, as you can see, once this was created, this new high, we then broke back into that bearish mode, bearish fashion, with price creating the next first lower low at 3,311, first higher high of 3,335, and then price just continued all the way down and then finishing sort of where we are now around here. So what does this show us for gold? So again, the same sort of thing as last week. Obviously, if you remember, this was the sort of last week. If you can see, and as you can see, price has continued bearish. We started off with some consolidation. However, the overall bias or the overall moves for gold this week were bearish, with price creating lower lows and lower highs pretty consistently, with a couple fake out points. However, price then did continue bearish for the entire week. So going into our next week, what sort of moves could we expect? So if we zoom out here and just have a look at the chart like this, so you can see that price is testing at a key point of interest, a key level. So as you can see, the level that we are testing on or have recently rejected off as support, you can see that price has tested this level multiple times as a support level, and also has tested it as both resistance as well, resistance and support. And then as you can see, we sort of have support, and recently what looks to be a support level. So what does this indicate to us? So this indicates to us that gold is at a very, very important pivotal point as of right now. So if price is to end up breaking through this point of interest here, so if we see price break below that level, of course we can see some exhaustion, we can see some sort of fake out. For example, what happened here, you saw price almost break below, and we saw some candlesticks push past on the lower time frame. However, price then did come back up, so we could still see something like that where we see price come down to these lower time frame points of interest. However, if we do see a clean and significant break of this level, the probability for a bearish continuation increases tenfold. So if we are to see this level continue, this bearish momentum continue, and we see this price broken through here, if we see price break through this level here, we're most likely going to be looking at any of these lower time frame levels. If we go ahead and go to our minute 15, you'll be able to see these levels in a little bit clearer detail. I know it looks a little bit messy at the moment, in a probably nearer to the end of the month actually, or maybe maybe in the week on starting July. I will go ahead and remark up the entire chart, and of course I will do this on video for you. However, let's continue. So as you know, we are testing at this level, and if price is to continue bearish, as you can see, we are seeing some sort of resistance found right before market closed on Friday at 10 p.m. GMT, and we are now looking to see if price can continue this bearish momentum. If price continues this bearish momentum, the next major point of interest, we go back to hour one real quick, the next major point of interest that we're going to be looking at is we're going to be looking at anywhere around these two levels here. So you see these two red horizontal horizontal lines, that is the same price that we saw price sort of come in here and start to consolidate before price then pushed on up. So that's what we're going to be looking at if price decides to break this level here. If we see price break that level and continue on, we're going to be looking for price to start consolidating or hold at support at around this level. If price fails at this level of support, we're going to be looking at this main point of interest. As you can see here, that was sort of the last and final level of support or level of potential support. If we are to see bearish momentum continue next week and price ends up breaking through this level, a continuation down to around back into the 2000s, to be honest, is a lot more likely. However, as you can see, if I go to our hour 4 real quick, it's going to look a little bit messy. Matter of fact, we'll go to even our daily. You can see that this whole area here on the higher time frames is just consolidation. Obviously, as you can see, price has crept up, but it is literally just consolidation. And as you can see, it's the same sort of pattern as we saw here, right here. So you can see that price consolidated, and then we saw price continue all the way up. If I go ahead and zoom in for you, you'll see the same sort of pattern as we can see here, not too perfection, but you can definitely see the same sort of things. So obviously we created a all-time high at 2,792. Price then consolidated for a few weeks, maybe even a couple months, and then price ended up becoming continuing on bullish. So that's definitely a scenario that we could see. Looking at our daily time frame, if I go ahead and delete some of these lower time frame drawings for you real quick, as you can see, daily is at an important place. So again, it just sort of reinstates the point that I made about us being at a key point or a key pivotal point for gold. So as you can see, if I go ahead and just delete all of these actually, and then we'll go ahead and mark it up on our daily real quick. Bear with me. That's not what I wanted to delete. There we go. Right, so as you can see, again, even on the daily time frame, this level that we are currently trading around or at has been a support and resistance level on the daily time frame for quite some time now. So as you remember, as I've spoken about many times in our technical analysis videos, the higher the time frame, the stronger the information. And now we are obviously looking at our daily time frame, and you can see that price has tested upon this level multiple times. However, as you can see, which is the thing that we were just speaking about on the lower time frame, price has ended up breaking through this level once before and has sort of found the final level of support around this point of interest here, around 3,150, give or take, which again is a previous resistance, which was then tested as a previous support. So it almost gave a break and then a retest pattern, and then price continued on bullish. So concluding this this post-week market analysis, we are currently at a very key pivotal point for gold. If we are to see price break through this level, we're going to be looking at anywhere around this level here. If we see price break through that sort of range, we're going to expect price to come down to this level here. However, we could in fact see price test at this level as a support. We could see some more consolidation at this level, building up enough volume and volatility to then push on out of these depths. So concluding again one more time, overall gold has been bearish again this week, and we are going to expect some bullish retaliation or some buyers retaliation this next week. So we might see some consolidation. It might just be a consolidating week. However, I do expect at some point in the near future we are going to see a nice bullish flip. However, right now, based off of price action and candlestick structure, we're going to expect somewhat of a continuation of this bearish momentum for the time being. It could be a day, it could be a couple hours, it could be a couple more weeks of bearish momentum. However, I do expect price to eventually push away from this main point of interest and continue on, and then end up breaking this point of interest here, which was our previous all-time high at around 3,500. So that's going to be our post-week market review. I hope you have all enjoyed. I hope you are learning things from these videos. I hope you are keeping yourself in tune with the markets, and most importantly, you are enjoying these post-week market reviews. So again, let me know in the comments below if there's anything you want me to add, anything you want to change, anything you want me to remove, and I will be happy to listen, happy to make adjustments. But yeah, so that's going to be our post-week market review. I hope you have all enjoyed, and I will catch you in the next one. Peace.